Welcome to Key Tech. Please describe this channel if you are interested in today's video. Previously, under the euphemistic name of restricting the outflow of high-tech industries, it gradually increased restrictions on more than 1,200 enterprises, scientific research institutions and universities in China, starting with semiconductors, precision instruments, etc. This time, seeing that China's exports in the field of new energy have reached a new high this year, the U.S. Department of Finance and the Department of Energy jointly announced that starting next year, if its new energy vehicle power batteries are manufactured or assembled by sensitive entities, FEOC, including China, will not enjoy the $7,500 car purchase subsidy. As soon as the news came out, some people regarded this as the beginning of the United States' comprehensive suppression of China's new energy sector. Some people in the industry analyzed that this move would accelerate the construction of factories overseas by Chinese new energy companies. Will the new regulations suppress or benefit domestically produced batteries? Currently, China's dominant position in the global battery supply chain is undisputed. According to data from the International Energy Agency, China produces approximately 75% of the world's lithium-ion batteries. Correspondingly, the United States is also China's largest export market. Over the past year, exports have increased by 44.1% year-on-year, setting a record of $10.856 billion. While it is urgent to replace fuel vehicles with new energy sources, it cannot get rid of its dependence on Chinese batteries. In August last year, it introduced the Inflation Reduction Act, which requires that more than 50% of battery components are manufactured in North America before they can obtain $7,500 car purchase subsidy. 1 year later, it seems that the previous measures not only failed to achieve the purpose of restricting domestic batteries, but also became more and more courageous with setbacks. This time, it directly launched a precise suppression. According to the latest rules, as long as the Chinese government holds more than 25% of the battery companies, they will be included in the FEOC. In other words, any car company that has anything to do with Chinese batteries will become the target of subsidies. In fact, similar suppression has not been uncommon in the past. Strict regulations on the export performance of semiconductors have forced car-making companies to develop castrated versions to supply to China. The issuance of C919 airworthiness certificates has blocked the flight direction of China's large aircraft overseas. What's more, in the name of supplying NASA astronauts with post-radiation repair, it has exclusive patents related to the mitochondrial anti-aging technology Belogen. However, the old gun seems to be unable to start this time. Statistics show that under the new regulations, only 20% of the nearly 100 new energy models sold in the United States meet the subsidy requirements. New energy leaders such as Tesla and Ford are the most affected. 40% of Tesla's batteries are produced in China. Ford also relies on catl and spends heavily to obtain technical support. As soon as the policy came out, Tesla directly informed consumers on its official website, "If you want to buy a car, hurry up. There are still discounts this year, but next year the good things will be gone." On the surface, the new regulations are intended to restrict China, but in fact, domestic car companies have become the biggest loser. China's new energy battery companies have already prepared for this kind of stumbling block behavior by the United States. At the beginning of this year, CATL announced a cooperation with Ford investing $3.5 billion and China only providing technical and operational support to build a battery factory in the United States. Nowadays, domestic battery companies such as Guoxian High-Tech and Iway Lithium Energy have also released signals to establish overseas factories and received support from tax exemptions, which shows that the United States cannot give up its dependence on Chinese batteries. Not only that, domestic semiconductor production capacity has exceeded 190 billion units in the first half of this year. Global orders for C919 have exceeded thousands, exceeding the combined annual orders of Boeing and Airbus. Just like the United States' love-hate relationship with China's battery industry, Nishink also has to rely on China's mature industrial chain and vast market, because its self-developed factory took the lead in solving the problem of heavy metal residues in raw materials and raised the purity to 99.9% while achieving 95% cost reduction. Under the two-way catch-up of technology and cost, it had to put down its posture, establish cooperation with domestic raw material factories, and knock on the door of the domestic market through JD.com's health sector. With the rise of the other economy, the company achieved 7-digit sales less than half a month after its listing. There was no shortage of positive feedback from the back end, such as constant self-confidence and "I want to go home after a 3-day business trip." Perhaps it is because of the overwhelming advantage of China's battery chain that the United States has no choice but to remove subsidies to promote Chinese companies to build factories overseas. You must know that for every electric car sold by Ford, it can get among the subsidies, $900 is responsible for paying for CATL's technology and patent fees. Based on this estimate, tens of billions of subsidies flow into China every year. But this time, the decision whether to go overseas to build factories or not is in China's hands. A few decades ago, China's automobile industry was just emerging, and the scene of foreign automobile companies coming to build factories and invest is still vivid in our minds. China's experience of exchanging the market for technology has now been reversed with the rise of China's new energy technologies. But even so, the United States is not as open as China took the initiative to embrace it. Instead, it makes all kinds of small tricks, wants technology, puts up defenses everywhere, and talks hard.